Welcome, David, to Metallarian Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Revocation, this new album, Nether Hidden, and other things related to the metal world. Starting with this question, how have you been during these crazy times? First started pandemic, then, well, now we are war in Europe, and perhaps who knows what happened next couple years? Alien invasion, the zombie apocalypse, the machines takes the power. Who knows what happened?
Yeah, it's been a crazy couple years for sure. I'm just happy that it seems like shows are coming back. We got a little taste of that when we went out on tour with Cannibal Corpse in Whitechapel, in the like a few months back. So I'm uh, I'm I'm happy that it seems like the pandemic is kind of hopefully on its way out, or maybe just people just don't give a shit about it anymore. But yeah, I'm just glad to be out there back at playing shows again.
Great to know. So, talking about the whole albums, I saw that in all your discography you release, it seems to be released in the new album for 1 or 2 years by difference. But now you take 4 years to release for the first time a new album from Revocation. So, what this happened this for the why did happen this change, this kind of change for years?
Yeah, I mean the pandemic definitely had a lot to do with it. I mean, we delivered the record about a year ago, and due to supply chain issues with vinyl plants and all that kind of stuff, like the record wasn't able to be released until September. So, yeah, we handed this thing in back in the fall. So it's again another unfortunate consequence of the pandemic.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I saw that I really enjoyed your music since the Empire of Obscene. I did my I went I bought some time ago, but now you changed a lot. You changed a lot of your music, especially you changed a lot of lineup since the beginning to now. So how do you keep the things fresh? Because I'm listening this Nether Heaven now, and you maintain the sound fresh, the sound interesting alone from I think more I like 20 years right now because so
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a student of music. I always love to learn new things. I listen to new bands, or I listen to new music from old bands that I like. And I have a diverse taste in music, so I think that helps influence me and push my musical tastes in different ways. So yeah, I think it's just a byproduct of how much I work on music and my passion for it.
okay. And what's your opinion about the first lineup from now that you are releasing your new album?
Well, yeah, I think the current lineup that we have is obviously nothing new. I mean, Ash has been with us since Great Is Our Sin, so he's been with us for quite a long time now. And Brett's been in the band ever since the Terra de Genesis EP. So, this lineup feels very comfortable to me. Like these dudes are my best buds. They're incredible musicians. We get along great. So, unfortunately, Dan decided to move on to other um, musical projects, but we're still really tight with him, and I wish him the best of luck with everything that he's doing. But yeah, I feel like this current lineup, it doesn't really feel new to me, other than the fact that we lost a member. But the other guys I've been playing with for years now, so it feels very comfortable, to be honest.
Mhm. Okay, I saw along your discography that you released your first album and by yourself, and then you released by Metal Blade, and they changed you changed the labels with Metal Blade to Metal Blade, sorry, to Metal Blade to Relapse Records. So now what happened at that time when you changed the labels from first Metal Blade, now Relapse, and now you are again with Metal Blade Records?
Well, we started on Relapse, and then we went to Metal Blade.
Okay, okay,
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
Um, and that was years ago at this point. They did the first three records. It was great working with Relapse, but we just felt like Metal Blade was a better home for us. I think they had more of maybe a worldwide presence. Uh, so yeah, it was a smooth transition. And now at this point, Metal Blade really feels like home. I mean, this is our fourth full length we've done with them, and they re-released our first record. So we've got quite a lot of history with Metal Blade up to this point.
Mm. Okay, okay. So, well, for me, it's curious thing to ask you because as you saw in many reviewers that you play something like technical depth, something like technical trash, this kind of mix into your music. So, for you to reading about a lot of reviewers, a lot about comments from the fans, how do you define the music in Revocation? Is technical depth trash metal that many people say, or perhaps you have other conception in your music?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I would say at this point we're I don't know, like a it's so hard to put a label on it. You know, there's thrash elements, death metal, progressive, technical elements. I don't know. I guess you can just call us a fucking heavy metal band at this point. I don't even care.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, talking about now about this new Nether Heaven, one aspect that I'm curious a lot of my attention is about you. You did the cover art by Paolo Girardi. That's a huge impact for me because the cover art represent a different focus compared to the previous works in the music. So how do you decide the change with this new artist?
Yeah, I mean, Paulo is a brilliant artist. Obviously, he is super talented and prolific. So it was great to work with him. I think he captured the essence of Nether Heaven perfectly. Right, I think Paulo kind of has this hellish style to his art in general. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to work with him. Um, and yeah, I think he delivered like a super unique work of art for us with this new album.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So now we are living in well, we are living in an easy way. Well, an easy world because new generation prefers to hear the music with digital platforms with one, two, three songs, doing these kind of things like playlist. So talking about this subject, can we relate with this new format here? Well, we are in a cycling time because in the 50s or the 40s they are just singles, but now we are living these times again. So for you, which song represents exactly the whole meaning of this nether heaven? If this new generation prefers to add to this new album with one song.
Yeah. You know, I think it's impossible to say just one song. I mean, we had a lot of trouble coming up with just the singles for the new record, and we get to choose like three or four singles. You know, so I think the new record, while it has a hell theme, right? I want every single song to have its own personality and to bring some diversity to the record. So I guess like I think Diabolical Majesty, the track that we just first put out, the first single with the video, is a great um, introduction to the record, but it certainly doesn't encapsulate everything that Nether Heaven has to offer because we specifically try to make every song have its own unique personality, and we always kind of strive to do that with every release. So that way, when you listen to a new Revocation album, you feel like you're getting like a full
Yeah,
experience that
yes,
takes you on
yes.
a journey rather than like, a whole bunch of songs that just kind of sound the same.
Yes, yes, but for me it's like you said because as I said, I love your band since the beginning to now. I did my pre-order for the last album. It's a great one as usually. Your music represents a lot of mixtures. It's very difficult to put a label, but the reviewer said that it's technical, death, thrash, extreme metal. Also, that's the better way to say. So talking about this aspect, I saw a lot of times into your older albums that you develop a new techniques into your great guitar schemes, in guitar rhymes, guitar riffs, guitar music. So for you, are you still put new techniques into this new album to see a lot of new developments in the music of Revocation?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always working on new techniques, working through different theoretical concepts. I want to bring something new and fresh to our music every time we put out a record, and I think again that's just a byproduct of the fact that I'm a even though I teach music, I'm first and foremost really I feel like a student of music. So I'm always working on different transcriptions and studying different things and I think that allows me to bring in some cool ideas every time around. And with writing, it's like you want to push yourself, right? So like I never want to like just write the same song that I've written before because it's worked in the past. Like I want to try to like push the band in different directions, even if it, you know, has, some elements that are familiar, right? I mean, we're gonna have some brutal vocals, we're gonna have blast beats, we're gonna have thrash beats. That's those are big vehicles for our music. But yeah, I always try to strive to do something new that I haven't done before on previous records. But there might be some sort of thematic threads in my playing that you can kind of draw from one album to the next. But overall, I'd like to be able to sit back the end of my career or whatever, and look at the whole timeline and say, okay, it was a clear kind of evolution, and you can kind of almost hear that I was working out different ideas from album to album, and developing those, and pushing them in different directions.
Okay, okay. So talking about your one, well, you came from Berkeley College. You are a musician from there. So how do you see now the difference between a music from the school and an empiric musician?
And to what was the last thing?
So what are the difference between a musician from the school and now from the empiric? So so I don't know, not musicians from school.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think you need to go to music school to be a great musician, right? I mean, there's plenty of people that never went to music school and write really cool stuff. What Berkeley did for me is, as well as my education in high school, because I went to an arts high school, and learned a lot about jazz and things, music theory there. Um, what it did for me is, it opened up my ears to different possibilities, right? I gained a lot of knowledge, and that allowed me to kind of apply that in different areas. So even though I was maybe studying a lot of jazz, I always kept an open mind about it, and thought, like, okay, how can I use some of these voicings in metal, or how can I use some of this chromaticism, or different kind of approaches to phrasing that might hear in jazz, and how can I bring that into metal? um and hopefully, like, it still is going to sound like metal at the end of the day, right? I'm trying to filter this through I'm trying to sort of see this material through the lens of Revocation first and foremost, so that it fits with our style. um so yeah, I don't think you need to be classically trained, or trained in jazz or whatever, in music theory, to be a good musician. That just comes down to kind of your ear, and your how you've cultivated your musical voice, or, like, practiced your craft. But for me, I think, yeah, like I said, it kind of opened up different doorways for me, and made me think about music in different ways.
Okay, okay. So talking about this aspect, at what point can a school musician be differentiated from an empirical musician? So perhaps when you hear a new band, do you see this musician is from school and this musician is not for school? Can you recognize that?
Um, yeah, probably in some regards. Yeah, I mean, if I'm listening to a band that has a very strong, like, fusion, like, progressive element or something like that, I can probably, like, or, like, I think, particularly with guitar players, right? I can hear something and say, okay, yeah, like, this guy's studied with someone somewhere, because their phrasing or their note choices, might be more unique than someone that is just playing. uh but it also depends on the vibe of the band too, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going for, like a very, like, old school death metal kind of vibe, then it's not going to have a progressive element to it. It's not going to need that music school flair. If you're doing something that has, like, tons of different time changes and is super progressive, like, it sounds like a death metal Dream Theater or something, then yeah, like, you're going to be able to pick up, like, these guys are probably studied somewhere, whether it's the drummer or the guitar player, or bassist. So I would say I probably have an ear for that, but sometimes things surprise you too. You never know. Like, I know people in gore grind death metal bands that, like, study jazz drumming, and this is, like, just their side project for fun. So
Yeah, yeah. So, relating to this, what do you think of the metal style being a street music style than a conservatory style? Because I hear a lot these kind of things that the metal came from the street and no need to be in a conservatory or a music school style.
Yeah, again, you don't need music theory. You don't need to go to college to play in a death metal band, right? That's definitely definitely true. But if you want to, I think knowledge is power, right? And if you want to gain knowledge, and with and learning music theory isn't going to make you a good songwriter either, right? That's the other thing, right? It's not like learning, you know, the circle of fifths, or knowing your sharps and flats, or that's not necessarily going to make you a good songwriter. So part of it, I think, comes from here. It comes from your life experience. It comes from your own kind of inner voice. And if you've got a good ear already, if you've got a good creative mind already, I think music theory is only going to help you. It's not going to hurt. But if you don't have that to begin with, right? I mean, it's something that you can work on and hone, but I think for some people it comes maybe more naturally to them. Um, like, put it this way, like if you gave me two bands, and one dude was, trained in the conservatory and one wasn't, but if the other person's music resonates with me more, I'm going to listen to the other band more.
Yeah.
Not, so it all comes down. It's all in the ear of the beholder. And I think that's the cool thing about music. There is that magical kind of element to it, where some people just have perfect pitch.
Yeah.
Some, they don't need to be a musician to have that. Like, they just naturally are born with things like that. Some people just inherently write amazing riffs. They just kind of come from somewhere in their mind, and they didn't need the music training. I don't know, I don't know the training of every single musician, but you listen to some old school death metal guys, and they wrote these incredible riffs, and I'd be willing to bet money they weren't like classically trained. They just had these cool creative ideas in them, and they were doing something different, and they were taking risks, and pushing the boundaries, and trying to be just extreme at all costs. And I think that led to some really cool, timeless music, some timeless riffs. So, um, it all depends on, I guess, it kind of depends on the individual, and then I think the schooling can maybe just serve to help.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Talking about this aspect of school, you are a you get guitar player teacher. So how do you see now the experience to teach a lot of new people your metal influence, your kind of styles? So perhaps do you see a new guitarist to form a band with them?
Um, yeah, I definitely have taught a lot of great guitar players over the years. I kind of teach everyone from beginner to intermediate to all the way to like very advanced. So it's cool seeing the different skill levels of different guitar players. I love helping guitar players make those breakthroughs where it was a concept that they weren't understanding, that I help that helps click, or a technique that maybe they were struggling with, that I can help click for them. Um, yeah, I mean, teaching is a gift. I've studied with great teachers over the years, so for me, I'm happy to sort of pay it forward, and help share my knowledge with the next generation of guitar players, or people that are my age or older.
Mhm. Okay, okay, okay. Well, talking about your influence about the guitar players along your history, so which guitarists influence you a lot to say, hey man, when I hear for the first time Kerry King, I always love to play like them. I love to play death, thrash, tech metal, because you have a lot of influence there, jazz, blues, etc., etc. But which guitarists into the metal scene bring you that essence to play to be a guitar player now, a guitar metal player?
I mean, there were so many influences I had growing up, but just to name three, it would be Dimebag Darrell, um, Marty Friedman, and Dan Mongrain from Martyr, played in Gorguts. He's in Voivod now, so those would be probably three of my main influences right there.
Mhm. Okay, and and when you compose new music, did you feel the same sensation when you released your first album? But are you into it like the same teenager when you has 13, 15, when you play for the first time guitar, and do you have the same sensation to this new Neither Heaven?
Yeah, I mean, I'm incredibly pumped on the new music. I think everyone in the band is. Um, I always try to recapture that same uh, exuberance for music, right? I really never want to lose that. Hopefully, I won't get too jaded as the years go on. But yeah, I know. I mean, when I was a kid, like I was just so obsessed with music, with metal, with rock, and just going down the rabbit hole of discovering different bands. And I still like to do that. Like I still love finding a new band that really like excites me, something that I haven't heard before, or maybe it's something that like it's a similar style to what I've heard, but they're doing it in their own way, and then that makes it really unique for me. So yeah, I always love to seek out new bands and to listen to new music. And of course, writing Nether Heaven, we were all super amped up on the process of writing it, and now we can kind of sit back and sort of enjoy the fruits of our labor, I guess, and see other people's reactions to the music that we've worked so hard on, and it feels really special to see the reaction that we've gotten so far.
Mhm. Okay, okay, okay. So you say that you are hearing new bands to find new things. So what is your opinion about the new bands, extreme metal? Because extreme metal is now more development than the 80s and 90s. We have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of mixtures now. The huge stones now is Piron, is from Imperial Tribe, and these kind of bands are way different from the 80s and 90s. So perhaps do you have another band to recommend all?
Sure, yeah. I would say maybe check out like Cosmic Putrefaction. They're doing some really cool stuff.
Mm,
Yeah, or like you could check out like Thanafaxath. That band does some really wild shit too.
okay. So okay. So talking about one, we are very close in this interview, and as your music has a lot of elements into there, so perhaps do you hear about we are going to the abstract soul. Perhaps do you hear about this synesthesia matter?
Say again, sorry.
Synesthesia.
Synesthesia, yeah,
Yeah.
like. I actually read a book on synesthesia called "The
Okay,
Man Who
okay,
Makes His Shapes."
okay, to see colors,
Yeah,
smell
yeah, yeah,
taste,
yeah,
etc. etc.
yeah.
So
What
relating
about
to
it?
yeah, so relating to this, what kind of colors, what kind of smells and odors that the listeners will find into this nether heaven?
Oh, sure. Well, I would say lots of reds and oranges. Any kind of like fiery colors. Uh, you're gonna smell sulfur and maybe a hint of cinnamon.
Sulfur with cinnamon.
Yeah, yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. And the sensation is fucking hot as hell. So it's gonna burn you. Yeah,
Yeah, like the
yeah,
church in your copyright. That's right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. So as I said, we are very close. And well, what are the future plans that the band has for this new album? Perhaps more North American tours. I saw that you will play in Australia, so perhaps a whole tour there, and perhaps more tours in Europe, or who knows? Perhaps Revocation will come for the first time here in Latin America, especially Peru, Chile, Colombia, etc., etc.
Yeah. Yeah, we've played Colombia actually a few
Yeah, yeah,
times,
yeah.
so yeah, it's always great coming down there. So yeah, we have the Nether Heaven U.S. and Canadian tour coming up September 9th. We're doing Australia in like a week. After that, we actually today just announced a full European tour headliner, which is going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, I think this record's going to keep us really busy for the next couple of years. So would love to come down to Chile. Would love to come down to Peru and Argentina. Maybe do Brazil. Like just kind of hit a bunch of the big cities down there that we've never played before. Certainly Mexico is always great to play. Yeah, we love playing in Spanish-speaking countries. You guys fucking love metal, so it's always a pleasure to play for you and feel your energy. So I'm hoping we're gonna do like a goddamn Nether Heaven world tour. So that's sort of the
Oh,
plan.
will be
Is
amazing. Yeah, will
yeah,
be
we're just kind
amazing.
of we're gonna conquer one country at a time. That's the plan.
Okay, okay, okay. So, well, David. The sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one as I did. And really thank you for your time. This album, as usual, is a great one from Revocation. Blew my mind. I did my pre-order. I did my pre-order to complete my whole full-length albums from you. So perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and Metalerium followers?
Sure thing. Um, stay tuned. I'm hoping we're going to get down there on this tour and do a proper run. We love the Latin American fans. We love your energy. I mean, you guys are really helping keep metal alive in that part of the world. So, thank you so much for the support to the metal scene in general, and of course, to Revocation. We really really appreciate all the support that we get, and yeah, we hope we can share the diabolical majesty of Nether Heaven with you guys sooner rather than later.